It's actually a really good course. So welcome everyone to our first meeting of our CCNP ENCORE class at Stanley Community College. There are 27 of you in this class, which is absolutely phenomenal. I was shocked and amazed that we have that many in the class, but we do have 27 people in this course, which tells me that you're all hungry for some CCNP knowledge, which is really good. Due to the number that we have, I'm not going to do my normal ask everybody to introduce yourself and tell me what you're working on. We'll be here all night if we do that. I will ask you to put that into the intro assignment on Canvas. We're going to talk about that because that is required, and I will show you that in just a minute. So I'll tell you about myself first off. I am Kelly Caudle. I am the head of the Cisco Networking Academy Support Center and Instructor Training Center. I'm also our lead instructor at Stanley Community College. We are out about 25 miles out, about 45 miles outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. And so we are pretty close to Charlotte, and we're in the central part of the state. A lot of people hear Albemarle and they think we're over on the coast at the Albemarle Sound, but we are not. We're in the central part of the state. I have been at Stanley for almost 28 years now. And so on the downhill slide of the retirement thing, looking at maybe next January and or the following July, hitting the ejection handles and then coming back and double dipping, as some of you know we can do after 6 months in the state of North Carolina. But I've been here for a long time. I've been involved with the Academy for over 26 years. I do have and have had CCNA, CCNP, all of those different certifications. I am teaching and can teach everything in the portfolio except for DevNet. That's the only class I'm not accredited to teach inside of Netacad at this moment. It's one of the I will say that's one of the few exams I've flunked is the DevNet exam. So it's a pretty tough exam too. So we'll get chat here. Anyone else have CCNP? Anybody else in here already have their CCNP or for CE? I will tell you the good news about this. This class does give you CE, continuing education credits, to renew your CCNA or lower level certifications. We will discuss that as we move forward. I'll show you how to actually do that. This course, if I'm not mistaken, is 48 CEUs if you complete it successfully. And those 48 CEUs, I'm actually going to pull this chat out over here so I have it. How we'll read if it's not Netacad, I'll show you two different ways you can do it that I'll discuss that. So but we are going to get you through this class. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you the book has a way more information than you need to pass the exam, and I will try to help you kind of pull down what you need to know. The book is over 1,000 pages, and so it is a pretty in-depth book, and it does kind of go beyond what we need just for the class. But we'll talk more about that as we get further into it. The very first thing I want you to note is I want you to be able to access canvas.stanley.edu. If you have not already done so, I need you to get in there as soon as you can. If you don't know your student ID or you're having trouble logging in, send me an email. We'll get it figured out. I know all your student IDs, so I can send you that. If you're having problems, you can also, if you're an existing student, reset your password, because I think many of you have had classes with us before. But once you get into canvas.stanley.edu, you will see our CCNP class. This is going to be a little different than other Netacad classes you have done because there's very little inside of Netacad. I actually have this as our main primary class area. You will upload all your assignments into Canvas. You will find most of our materials and information inside of Canvas. You will only go to Netacad to take the chapter exams, and that is it. All right. Now, why am I doing that? Because it's so much easier for me to grade inside of Canvas than it is inside of Netacad. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not a big fan of our current Netacad Moodle setup because it's so hard to grade in it. So I can use this, and we are going to use it. Okay, so just be aware I've got a lot of stuff already in here. But this intro assignment is the most important thing for you to do at the moment. Get this done for me. If you do not, I am required by the college to drop you. No ifs, ands, or buts. We get paid by you doing this assignment and us counting you as being in the class. So if you're not in it, we will have to, if you don't get this done in the next week, we will have to drop you from the class. Okay. So many of you have done it. 18 of you have already done it, which is pretty impressive out of a 27-person class. That means only 9 people have not done it. So please go ahead and get that done as soon as possible. Once you've done that, I do want to go over the syllabus here. Let's talk a little bit about this class. This is an instructor level course. And so there are really 4 different items here for you. Now, I do suggest you buy this book. Although it is not the world's best book, I do suggest you buy it, the official cert guide, or try to get a free copy sent to you from your Cisco Press rep. If you got a Cisco Press rep, you can try to get it sent to you. Yeah, it says CCNP and CCIE Enterprise Core Official Cert. There's only 1 edition. It may have 4.5 stars, but it's not that good a book. I just hate to say it, but it's just, I'm being honest with you. But get it because it's the only book out there that's really designed for this particular class. So please, that is one thing I would suggest. If you have the money and you want to purchase this book, because that's where you'll be doing the majority of your reading. If you do not have the money to do it, we do have these resources available inside our O'Reilly database that I will show you in just a moment. This database is a free database that you have access to for the duration of this course and up to 1 year after this course ends. I'll show it to you in just 1 second. But we have a complete video course. We have a portable command guide and a 32 days before your CCIE Enterprise Core book. All right. So let me show you how you get to that. First off, there is a video inside the class that shows you how to access this. So if you forget, all you got to do is watch this video. Our newest instructor, Constance Bowen, made this video for us, and she shows you where to walk through and exactly where to go. Okay, so this video is again underneath Home in Canvas, accessing O'Reilly Database. It's really simple though. You go to stanley.edu, you go under Student Resources Library. In fact, if y'all want to follow along with me and do it, you could go ahead and open up a web browser to stanley.edu. Go to Student Resources Library. Okay, so again, Stanley, Student Resources Library. Go to A to Z database list.
Student resources, we're student resources.
Yep. So again, Stanley, Student Resources Library, A to Z database, and then click on the O for O'Reilly. It's not auto parts this time though, it's the database. All right. Click on it. And you will, we are not listed in the drop down. We're not big enough for one of these. Okay, so we're not one of these big old schools. So you need to click institution not listed and put in your Stanley email address, your full email address, which for you is going to be your username at scc.stanley.edu. So your same login name for Canvas. Click Let's Go. And folks, you now have access to an unbelievable amount of free resources. I used to pay almost $50 a month to get access to this by myself. But we have up here on the right-hand side under your name, you can go to playlists and you can look for Discover, and you can look under the organization because you won't see it under your playlist, but Discover, and then look for the CCNP playlist, CCNP ENCORE. And I will actually share this list with everybody. So I'll put it into our class, in fact. But inside of here, you can see I've got the exam cram book, I've got the video course, I've got the 31 days before, and I got the command reference. I don't have the actual ebook because they got rid of it. They took out the ebook, which made me mad, but you know what? It is what it is. I'm gonna go look if there's any other resources. I'll keep looking around. They don't have the official guide anymore inside of here. Okay, unfortunately for CCNP. That's in there though. I think it's already in there. Yep, it's already in that one. So we don't have the official guide, but we do have under those playlists, do discover, and then find the CCNP playlist. Folks, I'm going to actually stick that in the class right here so you'll have it.
And we CC instructions.
So this will be, what's it be? Page name will be CCNP ENCORE playlist. Let's see if it works like that. See if it takes us to it. No, it's not going to take us to it. All right. So unfortunately, that's not going to work. I was worried about that. You'll have to go in there and find it inside of OReilly. Now, I want to show you something even more amazing. Let's say that for some reason you're studying for your Security Plus. Well, how would you like to have access to all of these resources? Here's a course. Here's the book. Here's all this. What else you want to tell somebody? Anybody else studying for another certification exam? Give me something.
Linux Plus.
There you go. There's all Linux players. Yeah, Linux Plus course, full course for a full study guide. Basically, there you go. And if you want to watch, by the way, you want to watch this course, all you got to do is you just go into it and you start taking it. Just watch it. So there are literally 35,000 different pieces of information inside of this OReilly that you can start learning. You want Python, there's 10,000 things of Python in here. I mean, there's so much Python, it's almost hard to even imagine. There's tons and tons of stuff inside here for CCNA. So you have access to this for the duration of this course, and typically your Stanley email is good for at least a year past the time the course ends. So it's worth taking a class from Stanley to pay, even if you pay the $195.50 just to get access to this for a year. Because this is pretty insane how good this is. But your books, you can either purchase this book at Amazon, which I do recommend if you have the money, or try to get it from your own, your own local rep, or you can use our playlist inside of Netacad, and you can either watch the complete video course, or you can try to read through the 31 days before your CCNP. You will notice, here's one thing that is neat. When you watch the video course, you will notice how much less in depth they go compared to the book. The book goes way more in depth on the topics than you need to pass the exam. But this exam is literally 1.5 miles wide and about 750 feet deep. So it's not one of those exams that's 2 miles wide or 1 mile wide and 1/2 inch deep. It's 1.5 miles wide and 750 feet deep. So it's not only wide in breadth, it's deep in knowledge. Now, the good news is if you don't want to get your CCNP, this will still help you greatly understand the topics you're going to teach your students, because this really builds on, you're going to understand OSPF better. You're going to understand spanning tree much better than you do from the CCNA. You're going to understand routing principles better. All of that you will know much better after this class. You will also understand wireless much better because this class tends to get much deeper in the weeds on the wireless than our class does in CCNA. Okay. So questions about how you're going to find the materials. Due to this fact, it makes it difficult for me to assign to you certain areas to read. So when we're going over certain things, so like when we start going over chapter 1 and we are going over, packet forwarding and these items, what you need to do is look at the areas in the book and in the online materials that match and look at those. Now, a lot of this, like the first section here, is stuff we've already, this is just VLAN tagging, creating VLANs, trunk ports. The whole first set of labs are nothing but basic things that we already do. But it's going to be, I can't literally say, okay, read chapter 1, read chapter 2, read chapter, we're going to have to look at it in terms of, we're going to look at concepts. And then we'll go from there. Okay. Questions about the materials? Yes, this does count as continuing ed. You should click on the top link on that link you created. Try it. Okay, I'll see why. I'll try that. No, I'll see that. And let's see. Yes, this definitely counts as continuing education credits for your CCNA research. So if you're trying, say your CCNA needs to be recerted next year, you can apply once you finish this class successfully. You can apply for your 48 credit hours, and that will definitely give it to you. Having said that, what do you need to do to successfully complete this class? Well, I'm going to ask you to do 25 chapter labs of your choice. All right, there's a lot more labs than that, but 25 of the labs of your choice. You've got to make a 75 or higher on the final, and you've got to do the final skills exam. All right. I have a week by week thing where we're going to look at, and by the way, our first weekly meeting is actually not until next week, but I'm going to ask you to do a couple labs here. I'm going to get you into NetLabs. We'll talk about these NetLab labs. If you have local gear and you want to use your own gear, feel free to use your own gear. However, we do have 2 pods of CCNP gear available for you to use. Okay, so those are the main items you got to do to get those to finish here and get credit so that you can get your. John, there is not an exam voucher. CCNP has no exam voucher, unfortunately. Yep, and it is a stupid expensive exam. It's $300 and I think it's over $300. I took it at Cisco Live last year. So it is one of the most expensive exams I've taken in a while. Yeah. So unfortunately, it doesn't have it. I wish it did, but it does not. The good news is though, you still, if you finish the class successfully and you get those 48 hours, if you apply them to your CCNA, you'll get another 3 years of your CCNA. So you don't even have to take an exam. You don't even have to take an exam. If you finish this class successfully, you will get enough CEUs to renew your CCNA for 3 years. So that's the good thing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, to knock it out. That'll knock that out. So you want to try to finish this class successfully. And folks, I'm going to be pretty lenient because I'll be honest with you, this class is difficult. This class has a lot of material in it. But I do also have a lot of flexibility. You'll notice here's 2 whole weeks when there are no labs due. It's just catching up on labs or working ahead. So we've got a lot of flexibility built in into our schedule. So just be aware of that. I don't think this is going to be something that's going to kill you, but it's definitely going to be, there's a good amount of material. Okay. That's pretty much, you can take a look through here. The due dates, I've got them put into our course. So they're actually inside of right here. So it tells you it's due February 19th for an upload for 112. And then these next ones are due on the 26th. So your first lab's not even due to February 19th. Okay. So unlike most courses, we will be using canvas.stanley.edu a great deal in this class. What we won't be using much is Netacad. Once I get you a Netacad, the only thing over here are practice quizzes. Okay. And so you've got literally the lab documents. And by the way, we won't be using these. We'll be using the documents from inside of NetLabs. And we just have quizzes. There's not even an actual exam. There's just literally a quiz that is right here. There are no chapter exams. So there is very little inside of here for you in terms of what you really need to do inside of Netacad. Very little. Yes, I am referring to those chapters inside of there, Tamara. Yes. Yeah. Somebody just looked up $400 for the exam. Yeah, Yeah, it's this exam is stupid. I have expressed to Cisco, and I know this is being recorded, but I don't care. I've expressed to Cisco my huge disappointment in their current certification program. I am disappointed in the fact that there is no real midpoint, but there's no point. CCNA is now lower level. This exam is almost like a graduate level exam. There's nowhere in the middle. They had those wonderful middle points of CCNA security, CCNA wireless, all those good middle points where you could kind of specialize. None of that's there now. And so I'm going to reiterate this fact when I go to Cisco Live this year, that their certification program is in dire need of overhaul. Question was, do you need to have the CCNA to take CCNP? No, you do not. You do not need to have it to take the exam. Obviously, if you're going to take the class, I strongly recommend you have at least do the CCNA training before you come in here. But you do not have to have your CCNA to take the CCNP exam. So, good question. Okay, so again, inside of here, the only thing you're going to be doing is the quizzes. There's very little inside of Netacad at all for you to do. Now, inside of NetLabs, I am going to be putting you into a class that is entitled KFC CCNP ENCORE SP23. KFC is my initials, and it keeps all my classes together. So I do not have you in anybody in here right now, but you'll notice also got to put content on here, I guess. Let me put the content in. CCNP ENCORE PMAP skills assessment. I will have you in here by the end of the day tomorrow. I will send you an email and tell you when it's time for you to test your access. But inside of here, you will see the labs that we have. And when I say to do the first lab, say lab 112, you have it right here. You'll see there's a huge number of labs inside of NetLabs for this. There are 2 pods available for this class. And you also notice one of the things I did to make life easy for you is I actually have an entire zip file that is full of the initial lab files or initial config files for each one of the devices. So if you're doing lab 112, I have the initial D1 that you can place in, D2, R1, and we'll go over this some more next week. But basically, if you schedule the lab, you don't have to do the basic config on the devices. I've already set that up for you, and you've got it inside of the class there. So you can just take the R3 config. It's a notepad. Actually, let's do notepad, not WordPad. And you will see that here's the initial configuration for R3 in the lab. Here's the initial config for D1 in the lab. So I've done that. Every single lab inside of CCNP that we have, I have the initial config files for. So that makes life a little bit easier for you. You don't have to sit there and spend 20 minutes typing in the initial configs. Okay. I also have one other item that if you would like to use it, I do have Cisco Modeling Labs. And I am willing to give you access. It's on a different server. It's on competitions.stanley.edu. I actually taught CCNP ENCORE with it before I had this physical equipment set up. And I can actually give you access to that. But we'll discuss that more as we move forward in the class. But you'll see this is the base lab. Here's the contents. And it tells you here's the basic configs. You don't have to try to copy and paste out of this document because I just took it and put it into a WordPad for you. And then you can literally, once these boot up, you can go in here and you can paste the configuration into the terminal. So you can go in here and paste the terminal, put the config in, click, make sure you're in global config. I'll go over all this next week, but just be aware we will have this available for us to use. You've got 2 pods of gear to do your labs on. That is our 3 main sites. We've got canvas.stanley.edu, which is where we will actually be using it for more than just the initial assignment in this class. We've got netacad.com, which will, by the way, you've got seat tokens. If you will look inside of our class here, If your name is under the seat tokens list, you need to redeem your seat token. If your name is not under this list, I found you already under our academy and put you in the class. So you're already in the class on Netacad. So if your name is here, you need to follow the using the seat token to enroll in Netacad class document. And this document, by the way, tells you how to redeem your seat token. If you have an existing account, make sure you put I currently have a login and use your email address of your current account to redeem your seat token. If your name is not under the seat tokens, okay, so your name's not under this list, you are an existing student under our instructor training center and I just stuck you into Netacad. Does that make sense? Okay. So some of you I couldn't find for whatever reason, so you need to. And John, I couldn't find you because you had 2 accounts under us, and I didn't know which one of the 2 was your actual instructor account. So I did not add you in. So just whichever one you normally log into Netacad as an instructor with, use that one to redeem that token for me. Okay. All right. That way it'll stay with your instructor account. I didn't want it to get stuck with the other one. Okay. Now, folks, other than that, our main thing that we're going to be doing is this. You are not required to be at these synchronous meetings. However, if you are not at the meeting, you are required to watch the video that I'm going to record. So our class meetings are where I give out all the information. And if you don't watch them, you're missing 99% of the class. So make sure if you can't attend in person, then we will that you review them. Right now, because I have travel that has been delayed for like 3 years, I've got an event in February. I'll be gone the 21st to the 28th. I'll also be gone in March for a week, but luckily, most of that time I'm actually home on Monday. So that's why I put our class meeting on Mondays. So our next class meeting will be on Monday. And it will, right now, I'm going to leave it at 5 o'clock, 5 to 6. We may be able to back that up an hour, depending if my other class can back up an hour from 3 to 4 and then 4 to 5. But right now, we're going to stay 4 to 5 for my CCNA 3 class, 5 to 6 for your class. That's fine, Dave. That's no problem. If you have to leave a little early, that's not a problem at all. I understand. And like I said, we may be able to back it up an hour. I'll just have to see. Depends on that other class, what they want to do. Unless y'all wanted to go to 3 to 4 Eastern, and then they would do 4 to 5 Eastern. But I think 3 to 4, John can't do it, no, because he's got practice and stuff. So I think we stay 5 to 6 for, I think that's the easiest thing to do for all of us. It is for me too. It's makes a late day for me, but and for you too. But I'll be leaving class to go to my beekeeping class. I'm taking a beekeeping class because I'm gonna start having beehives. That's my retirement plan. So, all right. So what do you need to do? It's real simple. Number 1, log into Canvas and do the intro assignment if you have not done so already. Redeem your seat token if you need to. In other words, if your name is on the seat token list inside of Canvas, redeem the seat token. If not, you're already in Netacad, so you can see it in Netacad. Then start reading the modules, books, or watching the videos for modules 1 and 2, or for sections 1 and 2. And then tomorrow, when I send you an email address, I'm going to send an email address and said, okay, it's now time to test your NetLabs access. But real quickly, just so you know, your username will be your username. It is your full SCC login. So if it was Daffy Duck and he had a username of 11 or a student ID of 1111, it would be dduck1111 at scc.stanley.edu. The initial password is going to be Cisco 123. If you have an existing account, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to still reset your password to Cisco 123 because most of you have forgotten your password. And so if you have an account already on our NetLabs, I will change it to use your full SCC login if it doesn't, and I will also change the password to Cisco 123. Yeah, we should. That would be cool with IoT lab with the bees. That's kind of like this. I'd like to put a little camera. I'm sitting here. I'm actually printing something on this printer. So this is a camera watching my printer downstairs. And this is only like a 5 frame per second camera, but it lets you at least see that the plate's being printed. But you can see this is a full wiggly curled gecko, and it's printing in right in an hour, which is pretty amazing. But I'd like to stick one inside the hive and be able to watch the bees. That would be cool, and keep up with the moisture and everything inside. But, all right, any questions about our class? Let me stop my share here. This will be a very different class than what you've done in the past, because like I said, we're depending on you to do a lot of the reading on your own outside and working on those labs. So we will definitely be able to do that. I'm going to, any other questions before I stop the recording? Okay, I'm gonna stop.
I need the URL to get logged into the class. My password. Forgot.
Okay. Who is?
Where am I going first?
Who is it?
It's Bob Sather.
Bob. Okay, Bob. I will send you an email and just. I see Robert.
That's fine.
Oh, the Net Labs. Are you talking for Net Labs or for Canvas?
I can get into Net Academy. I'm still a member of Net Academy, so I can see it, the Net Academy stuff. I need to get to the other stuff you're talking about.
You're talking about canvas.stanley.edu.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send you. I did send an email last Friday with the information on all how to log in and all.
Okay.
But I will send it to you again
Okay.
with your student ID and all. I'll put that in this email and get it to you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
If
you.
anybody else has trouble getting into Canvas, send me an email and I'll try to get you fixed up. We may have to have you contact our tech support. Yeah, you may have to contact our student IT in order to get the password and all reset. Sometimes it just depends, but if we can't get you in, we'll get you in touch with our support. Okay.
Kelly, what was the URL to NetLabs again?
Netlabs.stanley.edu.
I got you. That's why I couldn't get in.
Yeah, Netlabs.
You got to put some .Stanley in there.
Now, and I may, like I said, your account may not be you. Now, you probably have an existing account, but I'll be changing it to be your full Stanley email address.
I believe I used it last semester and the semester before that.
Should
I've
be
been
fine
taking
then.
classes over a year now, so
Yeah, you should be good then. You'll be good. Yeah, that same account should work, Dave.
my login's still sitting there. So
Okay, I don't have you in our class yet. Yeah, I don't have you in the class yet.
it doesn't like my password. So
Okay, well, I can change that. I can change your password. That's not a problem.
thanks.
Yep, I will take care of that. I'll get everything. I'll reset it to Cisco 123.
All right, thank you.
No problem. In fact,
Is that Cisco all caps?
it's all lowercase, all lowercase.
Okay.
But now just be aware, I may not have your account created yet. If you don't have an existing account, it's probably not created yet. So don't be trying to get in NetLabs yet. Dave's just an overachiever because he already had an account.
Okay.
Well, I did have one more question. You know, my login is using my work, the Athens.edu instead of the Stanley. Is it still going to be that way?
That's okay. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah,
Okay.
if you're an existing student and you know how to get into our systems, you're fine. You're
All
good.
right.
Yeah, you're good to go. It's if they're brand new, it's where we're going to be doing. We're going to make sure they got the other stuff. Okay. So what, Reggie? Question?
Yeah, sorry. What will be the Netacad login and password? I already have a instructor account.
You will need to use the to redeem your seat token.
Oh,
So
okay.
inside of the canvas.stanley.edu class,
Okay.
right here, I have a seat token for you. Okay. So find your name, Regiment, there's your seat token. And then the process to use that token is listed right here in this document. Using a seat token to enroll in class, it tells you exactly how to enroll or how to use that in order to get into the class.
All right. Yeah, I will try. I'm actually driving. I'm not. I will when I reach back home. I'm gonna do that.
That'll
So
be
just
fine.
want-
Yeah, that'll be fine. Just do that once you get into Canvas, and make sure you do that initial assignment in Canvas too, for me.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're
And the
very welcome.
NetLabs. The NetLabs.
NetLabs, I will get that up and going tomorrow. Look for an email from me to say that that access has been given. I usually don't give access to everything until you do that initial assignment for me, so that way I've got a way to make sure
Yeah.
I got a little
I-
leverage.
Yeah. I did it. I think I did it like in the last 5 minutes. So I
Okay, excellent.
just completed it.
Okay, then I'll get you access to NetLabs early tomorrow or tonight, probably tonight.
Sure. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Anybody else have a question?
Ellie, in the O'Reilly catalog, there are a lot of different books and video guides.
Yep.
Could you maybe take a screenshot and put into Canvas exactly which one you recommend we jump into as we get started here?
Yep, I sure will.
Thanks.
Yeah, let me make myself a note. Do a O'Reilly resources screenshot. Got it. We'll make it happen.
Are you gonna try that link again?
Yeah, I can try it. Let me go see. Okay, so you were saying if this is my
Yeah, if you
database,
click on the top, it should work.
okay, share. Well, that was supposed to be, okay, let me try it again. All right, so if I copy this link,
Yeah, and put it in the URL like you did originally,
okay,
and it comes up, it's gonna say broken link, but if you click on the top where it says the name of the link. it
oh,
should
okay, I see what
go
you're
to the
saying. So let me go back over here. So let me go, all right, so let's do this. So if I go here and I say external URL, and I put this here and I say CCNP ENCORE O'Reilly. All right, so let's add that. So if I click here, well, let's publish it. Click here. It failed. Oh, then you click there and it goes. Okay.
Yeah, it should go.
Did y'all see that? So if you
No,
go
we see
here,
you. You
okay,
didn't
hold on.
share.
I don't have it shared. Hold on a second. Let me go back. All right, so so inside now I've got this link. When you click here, if you'll click on this, I think I can fix this. Hold on a minute. I think I can actually make it work. Let me try this. I bet if I load a new tab. Nope, still doesn't work. But you can actually click right there and it will open it up. See how I did that? So
Yeah, that's what I do a lot for my
Yeah.
students. They have that problem.
yeah, under our class, you'll see the O'Reilly link, click there, and then just open it in a new window. And if you're logged in, it will take you to it. If you're not logged in, you'll just have to put in your Stanley email address and it'll take you to it. So there's that whole list right there. And this video course, I can highly recommend the video course because it's a good thing. It's a very good. So I was down on layer 16, chapter 16. So when I was reviewing last time I was reviewing. So that's in there now. So you can click on that link and get to the O'Reilly playlist. Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Noval. Appreciate it. All right, Tamara, you can access it. Okay, so I'll get you in there then. If you're in there and you've got an existing account, I'll just put you in, and you can let me know if you can't access it. We'll go from there. All right. All righty. Any other questions? I'm gonna stop the recording.